America's #1 show on pop culture and politics. This is the Michael Medved Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. And what a great day it is for me. Not only the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and less auspiciously Charles Darwin. We will get to both of those in the course of the show. But a great day for me because I'm in one of the greatest states in the Union, the great state of Alaska. And whenever people hear that I'm heading up to Alaska, the very first thing that everybody asks, and you know what it is, are you going to see Governor Palin? And the answer is yes, I do have that privilege. We are going to be speaking together at the annual Lincoln Day dinner for the Alaska State Republican Party. But I have an opportunity for a little bit of a sneak preview speaking to Governor Palin right now. And happy Lincoln's birthday, Governor.
Oh, to you too, and I am so glad that you appreciate Alaska. That means a lot to us. Thank you.
Well, I love it. This is my 4th trip to Juneau, and again, I think that a lot of conservatives have whole new appreciation for Alaska because of your leadership. Right now, there's a lot of agony and self-examination among conservatives about how we're going to be able to win again. And the stimulus package is not inspiring to many Americans. What do you think is the most important thing for conservatives to keep in mind to enable us to win again, Governor Palin?
I think that we're going to have to really walk the walk and not just be talking the talk about Republican values here. And the vision and the values and the resolve, that was really lived out by one of the founders of our party, and that's Lincoln. But we're going to have to walk the walk, and especially elected officials in our party, and show that we still believe in the principles of capitalism. We believe in the principles of equality and respect for life and reward for strong work ethic, and really an expectation that every able-bodied individual is going to have to work hard and provide for themselves and their family, and then be able to contribute to their communities in our country without government mandating all of that. And we, as elected officials in the party, are going to have to do a heck of a lot better job to show Americans why it is that the Republican Party is the party that makes the most sense.
Well, some of your fellow Republican governors, Governor Palin, have actually signed on in support of this stimulus package because President Obama is offering lots of money to the individual states. You have not joined that particular bandwagon. You're suggesting that Alaska should pay its own bills rather than getting money from the federal stimulus package?
Well, when Alaska became a state 50 years ago, we struck deals with the federal government, and that was let us into the union and we'll be as self-sufficient as possible, and we'll do that by developing all of our abundant God-given resources up here. Now, the federal government hasn't really held up their end of the bargain. They've locked up too much of our land, so we're not able to develop to our potential. So the federal government needs to allow us to develop so that we can pay our own way. That's kind of that Alaskan pioneering spirit where we want to be in that position. I do think it's a mistake for some of my fellow governors and other elected officials to have signed off on the stimulus package as it was written, by the way, because granted the stimulus package, it's needed. We knew it was going to happen, but with guaranteed spending on the table, more of us should have argued for needed construction projects and tax breaks that would truly stimulate the economy and create jobs. People should have fought harder against increased federal programs that are going to become a state's unfunded mandate to continue funding for generations. And my fellow governors are going to see that. Unfunded mandates coming down from the feds affecting our state. We're going to be expected to pick up the tabs for new programs that are part of the stimulus package.
Down the coast, the Pacific Coast in California, I think they're talking about a $42 billion state deficit. It's almost hard to believe. Doesn't some of this federal money that's going out to the states reward states that have not kept their own house in order, that have not balanced their budgets as well as you've done up in Alaska?
Well, we're still looking at a shortfall also because 90% of our budget is based on the price of a barrel of oil, and because that price has really plummeted, we're looking at an $1 billion shortfall, but we were prepared for that also. We had forward-funded education. 21% of our general fund budget is headed towards education. We've already allocated that, taken care of that. But because we've done that, we don't have a shortfall in education. We're essentially punished then in the stimulus package. We thought ahead. We planned ahead. So we won't be receiving those dollars that other states that didn't have education, for instance, as a priority in their budget. They didn't take care of the problem that was coming, and they'll be rewarded. So, yeah, issues like that are more things that are wrong in that stimulus package.
Like most conservatives and most Republicans, you have not been a fan of the stimulus package. If somebody sort of forced you to react to President Obama so far in the first couple of weeks of his presidency, what would you say?
I would say I think that the stimulus package is an indication of our economy and those making decisions on behalf of our economy losing sight of the principles of capitalism. And that scares me because when we look at the bank bailout, too, that's being discussed, again, even today, additional dollars going to banks, any step towards nationalization of a bank, and I know that sounds insightful to even use that term, but any steps towards that should be a scary thing for anybody paying attention to America's economy, where we are sitting in the world, the fact that we are borrowing hundreds of billions of dollars to pay for the stimulus package, and now being under consideration seeing more dollars headed towards bailing out more banks that, again, could potentially lead towards government control over more of our banks and our monies. That goes against the grain of capitalism, and that should scare people who are paying attention.
Absolutely. You've written to President Obama asking for his help with Prime Minister Harper of Canada on the construction of a new pipeline, an oil pipeline, which is crucial to Alaska, could be crucial to the lower 48 as well. Talk about that.
Yeah, and that pipeline, too, this ties right on in with the stimulus package also. Under the stimulus plan, what we're going to do, the United States, we're going to continue to borrow money from foreign countries to pay for the spending that's a part of the plan, right? And under the legislation, the United States is going to continue sending money to OPEC nations, even as we continue to borrow, and we're missing opportunities to develop domestic supplies of energy. Alaska has huge reserves of oil and gas. A lot of our lands are locked up by the federal government and by environmentalists, and we've got to unlock those lands and allow development. This Alaska gas pipeline, it's a $30 to $40 billion natural gas line that would go from our North Slope, tapping reserves up there and flowing them into very hungry markets on the North American continent. A project like that truly stimulates the economy. It's the largest private sector infrastructure project in North America's history. It creates jobs. You're ordering steel. You're ordering trucks. You're laying pipe. A project like that truly stimulates the economy. It's not just another social program that should be potentially at least considered for funding in a regular budget process, not in a stimulus package. But an infrastructure project like that, it's going to happen. It's a matter now of the federal government cooperating with the state of Alaska on allowing the permits, the rights-of-way, so that we have a domestic supply of clean burning natural gas that is here in the U.S. flowing into our hungry markets instead of being reliant on foreign sources of energy.
Have you gotten a response from the White House yet?
Not yet. Looking forward to it.
Okay, we all do. Ashley Judd, I mean, I hate to mention, speak ill in your presence, but she's launched a series of commercials on the Internet, pretty nasty and attacking you, suggesting that you don't love wolves and that you somehow delight in the sadistic slaughter of wolves. Have you have a comment for the animal rights extremists and the extreme environmentalists who are attacking you on this issue?
Well, for one, up here in Alaska, we eat, therefore we hunt, and we like clean, abundant sources of protein to hunt and to fill our freezers, especially out there in rural Alaska. Now, in the lower 48, when predators decimate crops or wildlife like, coyote or mountain lion or snakes or rats, there's eradication efforts of those predators so that the livestock and the crop can be in abundance for people's consumption. Well, we do the same thing up here with our biologists, with our scientists. When necessary, they look at growing our moose and caribou populations.
You're trying to protect the moose and the caribou because you love animals, not because you hate them. Governor Palin, America loves you. I know our listeners do, and they're envious of the fact that I get to have dinner with you tonight at the Lincoln Day dinner for the Alaska Republican Party. We'll be right back talking about Darwin.